Are you struggling to debug your Node.js promises in Visual Studio Code? You're not alone. Many developers face this challenge, and today we're going to explore how to get the call stack when debugging promises. I totally get it. It can be incredibly frustrating when you're paused at a breakpoint and the call stack is barely showing anything, even though you know there are multiple functions involved. You're definitely not the only one experiencing this. Let's dive into the specific question at hand. One user asked, is there a way to get the call stack when debugging Node.js promises in Visual Studio Code? They mentioned that even with the protocol inspector attribute in their launch configuration, the stack frames weren't very helpful. Sound familiar? Let's figure this out together. So what's going on here? The issue arises because Node.js promises can sometimes obscure the call stack, especially in older versions like Node v6.9x. This can make debugging tricky, but don't worry, we have solutions to help you out. And stick around. I have a powerful tip at the end that will enhance your debugging experience and make your life a lot easier. To begin debugging promise call stacks in Visual Studio Code, the user should ensure they are using a compatible version of Node.js. Since they are currently on version 6.9, it's recommended to upgrade to at least version 8 or higher for better support of async call stacks. Next, the user needs to configure their launch settings in Visual Studio Code. They should open the launch.json file and ensure that the protocol is set to inspector. This will enable better debugging capabilities for asynchronous code. After configuring the launch settings, the user should set breakpoints in their code where the promises are created and resolved. This will allow them to pause execution and inspect the call stack at those critical points. Once the breakpoints are set, the user can start debugging their application. They should run the debugger, and when execution pauses at a breakpoint, they can view the call stack in the debug panel to see the chain of function calls leading to that point. Finally, if the user still encounters issues with the call stack not displaying as expected, they can consider using the async hooks module in Node.js. This module can provide additional insights into the asynchronous operations and their context. Fun fact, did you know that debugging is often considered an art form? Just like a detective solving a mystery, you need to piece together clues to find the culprit behind your code issues. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user explains that the call stack shown during debugging is correct. When a promise is created around an asynchronous callback, the call stack gets unwrapped. This means that when the callback executes, only the function passed to the then method is on the stack. They illustrate that in many cases, the promise chain is flat. For example, when using then handlers, only the current callback is visible. However, for async functions that await promises, a proper async stack trace can be generated. To achieve a proper async stack trace, the user suggests using async functions with await. This allows the debugger to show a complete stack trace, which is more straightforward since Node.js version 12. For more details, they provide a link to a comprehensive explanation on the topic. Here's that powerful tip I promised. Regularly update your tools and keep an eye on the latest features in Visual Studio Code. Staying updated can save you a lot of headaches down the line. And there you have it. With these tips, you should be able to get a clearer call stack when debugging your Node.js promises. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks.